Hey everyone, today we're going to be eating delicious Raspberry Pi. No, we're going to be setting up the Raspberry Pi Zero on your MK3. Also, there might be a giveaway at the end of this video if you stay tuned. Alright, we're going to go over all the different steps on how to set up your Raspberry Pi on your MK3. And also, yes, there will be a giveaway at the end of the video. I'll discuss all the details. I'm really excited. I hope whoever gets it really likes it, but it's going to be the Raspberry Pi Zero and all the adapters included with it, so that if you need to hook it up to your computer to diagnose it, you can do that because it comes with an HDMI adapter as well. And then I had an issue when I was setting up mine where supposedly the SanDisk SD cards were screwing up, and I'll link it in a card up here. But the SanDisks were messing up, so I had to run around figuring out how to fix it, and I did fix it, and that's what that card's for. But what I've included in the kit is a Kingston, so you don't have to worry about it. I keep looking down here because this is the kit. It's got your SD card, your Zero, and all the adapters, and some headers. So you can share in the joy and frustration of trying to get this to work. But that's what this is about. It's about learning, so let's jump into it, and I'm gonna go over the process on how to get this actually functioning on your printer. George's Gadgets, let's gadget it. I need a cool catchphrase. If anyone can come up with a cool catchphrase, I will be forever in your debt. Enough babbling, George. Let's get this going. You're gonna need an SD card, a Raspberry Pi Zero, and obviously some headers that you're gonna be able to solder. Also, you should print out this case. It's made by Moondoggy, and then there's a adapter that you put on your Zero so that it doesn't short anything out when you connect it to the NZ, and that was put up by Kissman. This is my buddy's site, BytePen Studios. Everything that I learned about how to set up my OctoPrint, I learned from him. He makes really cool videos where basically he packs in as much information as he can within a minute. It's called the Wilson Minute, and BytePen Studios, go check his channel out. Please, I gotta give him a shout out. This is OctoPi. I have the link in the description. Everything I talk about, the link's down below, but you download it so that you can install it. And then I recommend using SD Formatter. It's a way that I format my cards. In case you mess up, you might have to format it to start over. Etcher is something that you're gonna need so that you can actually flash the image. So this is Etcher, and you set it up by selecting the image that you want, then you select your device, and then you hit flash, and that's it, you're good to go. Once that's all ready, you're going to be able to get into your SD card, and you're going to want to hit up the OctoPi network. Don't open it in Notepad, that's what it looks like. You're going to want to download Notepad++, and it makes it simpler to edit. So depending on your network, you could either have WPA, WPA2, WEP. Most routers use WPA or WPA2. And so you take off the pound signs off the front, and then you put in your SSID, which is what your Wi-Fi is named. And we're gonna name ours, what is your favorite meal? And then right under it, you put in your Wi-Fi password. And everyone knows the answer to this question is milk steak. So after you've flashed and you have everything edited and ready to go, you can plug it in, and then you power it on with a regular micro USB cable. You can also see how it boots up if you have a, I think it's a mini HDMI, or yeah, mini, not a micro. This is what it boots up. I apologize for the blurriness. I thought it was in focus and it wasn't, but basically you just have a bunch of text going by and OK to the left. All right, now you're gonna need to download Putty as well, and Putty is how you get into your Raspberry Pi so that you can actually edit settings. You type in your IP address. I know mine because I found it out by going to my network devices. If you double click on the OctoPrint, you can see what your IP address is. So once you type it in, you're gonna get this pop-up, you hit yes and you accept it. And then you log in as Pi, and the default password is Raspberry. I always read that as Raspberry, but the first thing you're gonna wanna do is change your password because it is the default. So you type in passwd, and then it prompts you, follow the prompt, and you're gonna be able to change your password. Make it something secure. All right, and then after that, after your password is updated, you're gonna type in raspi-config, and you have to make sure that you sudo it. So I sudo su so that I don't have to type in sudo anymore, but basically you can type in sudo raspi-config or just sudo su and then raspi-config. The first thing you're going to want to do when you do this is get into the advanced settings, and you're going to want to expand the file system. This makes it so that the Raspberry Pi has access to the entire SD card. And then you get into OctoPi after it boots up, and this is your first start wizard. Access control, as long as it's within your own network, you don't really have to worry about it. If you're going to open it up to the internet, then it's something that you should look into. This is your printer profile, and I didn't configure Cura just because I don't use Cura. I use Simplify 3D or I use the Prusa Slicer edition. And that's it, then you're done. Then you get in. Well, not completely done. We still have a ton more steps, but you're done with this little bit. I recommend updating it as soon as it asks you to update, just so you can get it out of the way. And after you log back in, there's going to be a new prompt talking about connectivity check and plugin blacklist. I'm guessing that blue is recommended and red is not, so I used blue. I'm not the most technical guy, so don't take all of my advice. We're going to need our Prusa, and then we're going to need the piece that we printed out, the Pi, the SD card, the headers, some solder and soldering iron, and this helping hands also kind of helps out if you need it. So getting the case off, the original case, was pretty easy, especially if you have the instructions, which everyone does, it's on the internet. And I left all the wires connected just because I thought it would be harder to disconnect them. I started disconnecting them and I changed my mind, so I left them all there. And I used those needle nose pliers to kind of place the screw in the original socket, because with the board in there it makes it a little difficult. I used the instructions to connect the cords to the correct spot, and this is me soldering. Now I'm gonna leave in the part that where I super messed up, and these pins I'm putting in there so that you don't mess up. But what I messed up on is I've never soldered anything like this before, and I did a terrible job. So I ended up having to leave my house and go get some flux so that I could make a homemade solder like wick, so I could absorb all the solder off that I had screwed up on. And after doing that, I used smaller solder so that I could control it better. And I know that flux probably isn't what it's meant for, because it's plumbing flux, I believe, but I was in a bind and I'm taking the risk. So there's my ugly soldering job. Do not make fun of me. I know there's some people out there that are probably way better, but unless it's a fire hazard. If somebody's gonna tell me it's a fire hazard, make fun of me and let me know. God, get out of the way, Baldy. Jesus, move! Your fat, bald head. Okay, thank you. That's how you plug it in. And then that nice case, look at that. It just goes right over, and then that way, if anything ever happens, like if my bad soldering job catches on fire, I can just pop those screws off and get to it. Also, in the future, I'll be doing a webcam video. I'll be adding a webcam to my Raspberry Pi, and I'll leave a card at this spot. All right, so after that, we go back into Putty because we need to configure the 0 so that it can work with the Prusa. I've linked where I found all these commands and where I found this tutorial down below. And you're gonna type in sudo nano/boot/config.txt. And once you get in there, you're gonna wanna go to the very end, and you're just adding a line to it. You're adding dt overlay equals pi3-miniur-bt. And then you get out of that, you save it, and then you sudo nano/boot/command line.txt. And then there's a portion that you actually have to take out. I already took mine out at this point, so I opened up another one that I installed. That's the line in the highlighted right window. You're taking that line out of, or on the left, you're taking out the highlighted line from the right of that SSH window. You're going to get back into your OctoPi, or OctoPrint, excuse me, and you're going to go to additional serial ports, and you're adding that line. And then once you do that, you hit save and reboot, and everything should be good to go. It should work. And if you have made it this far, congratulations. This was a pain in the butt, but I enjoyed doing it, and I enjoyed teaching it to you guys, or at least working through it with you guys. So if you have any questions, please in the comments below let me know, and if I messed up, let me know. All right, did you make it this far? Did you make it through all that? It was a lot, I know, all right? But it's worth it, because now you get to find out. Actually, you probably already found out. Everyone does this type of giveaway. There's a Gleam link down below. All you gotta do is follow all the instructions, and you get entered into it. And 2 weeks from tomorrow, because I wanna give enough time for I'm uploading this kinda late. 2 weeks from tomorrow, I will be announcing the winner. Down below, I've left a bunch of affiliate links for all the stuff that I've used. If you are looking to purchase this stuff, if you use those, it helps me out a lot, but it doesn't cost you a thing. I really appreciate you guys watching. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.